This is 3 Shots In.
I took this topic very literally.
Yeah.
I looked up
Helen Hunt, the life of Helen Hunt.
No. Hunting stories. But, you know, I'm a sucker for the creepy aspect of things. So I looked for creepy hunting stories, and I did find a nice collection of them on Reddit.
Creepy, like ghostly? Or like alien-y?
So
or like I'm being watched-y?
Maybe. My thought initially was that I might find something like that. And instead I found things I wasn't expecting and things that were not quite as spooky. It was more based in reality, things that definitely could happen to absolutely anyone.
Okay.
But were terrifying anyway. Basically, I could imagine you shitting yourself in most of these situations.
Okay.
We begin with the very first one that I found. Did I bump it? Did I bump my drink?
You were getting real close. I was getting scared.
My little ice cubes tinkling? Is that why you moved it?
Yeah, I got scared.
That I was going to spill it?
Yes. No, Jessica. What, that you were going to get some condensation on your fucking sleeve? That's why I was scared?
I don't know. I didn't even touch it.
Dumb. You were going to spill your drink and I saved you.
I hadn't even touched the glass.
I saved
Mom, calm down. Anyway, I'm going to read them verbatim because it's Reddit. So it's people sending in their own personal stories. Yeah. And here we go. This is a little weird, but a good story. We are grouse hunting. Were grouse hunting last year, early in the year. We went to a trail we'd hit the year before. As we were new to the area, we're still exploring. Turns out they clear cut the whole thing. There's no more woods there. We're still in a state forest, so we hop back in the car and we decide, screw it, let's just park here and wander around in the woods. Mind you, there are no trails, no parking spots, no cars, no signage, no houses for miles. We're out in the middle of nowhere, between Duluth and Ely, Minnesota, or Ellie, Minnesota. We're probably coming up on a mile into the woods, just brush, bustling with our GPS so that we don't die, and out of nowhere, a dog runs out in front of me. I'm thinking, what the hell is a dog doing out here?
Like a wild dog?
Just a dog. It looked like a domesticated dog.
Huh.
That's when I hear this goofy sound. It was definitely a human vocalization, but it wasn't a word or anything like that.
You said goofy sound and all I meant was, oh, yuck.
Oh, yuck. Well, I don't know. Maybe it was. So I get a little nervous. I start walking up the crest of this small hill. The first thing I notice is a shotgun leaning against the tree. Then I see this guy's blaze orange on the ground, his vest, to make sure other hunters don't shoot him. The dude was like grunting on the ground. I thought he was seriously hurt or something. Nope. I got close enough to realize this dude is just going to town on himself in the middle of the woods.
Oh, he's just beating one off?
Yeah. I walked in on a dude jerking it miles from anything in a place he probably thought he didn't have to worry about other people running in to where he was and finding him doing this. But I did.
Awesome.
And then he says, just thinking of how far this guy had to walk to be alone and feel isolated. And I found him anyway.
Did he watch him? Did he watch him finish?
He goes, I just got the hell out of there after that. I didn't hunt any birds.
So do you think the guy even knew?
I'm really not sure. That's where the story ends.
So what the fuck? Did he have headphones on? Or his earplugs in or something?
I don't know. Or this guy was just like on the alert because
I don't give a shit.
He said he heard a sound that it was like, it was human, but it sounded like weird. And so so he thought it was like a strange sound. And so he went moving through the trees like quietly because he was like freaked out by it. It just was the last thing he expected to hear out there.
Oh, you're so much better than my wife. Whoa.
Wow. Oh. Ooh, ah.
Oh, yuck.
Next up.
Yeah.
My first year hunting, I pulled up in a small gravel parking lot about 3:30, 4 a.m. I was surrounded by high grass with a dirt path to my right to venture into the woods. I turned my truck lights off, walked to the back of my truck to get my gear on. As I was getting ready, I heard this exact noise multiple times from all around me.
Are you going to make the noise?
No. Followed by the sound of something running through the dry, high grass. And I do have the recording, but I'll play it afterwards.
Oh, so do it during the break?
Yeah.
I'll add it in. Oh, you have it. That's what animal sounds is?
Animal sounds, yeah.
Oh, look at that. Okay.
Mind you, it was pitch black with my small headlamp and no one around. Very, very creepy setting. I had no idea deer made noise like this.
Deer?
The deer made this noise.
Okay.
I immediately got back in my truck. I locked the doors and jumped on YouTube to figure out what the fuck I was hearing. Once I found out that's the noise deer make when they're alerting other deer to trouble, it calmed my nerves. So I went into the woods, still on edge. I wasn't comfortable until I was high up in my tree. I'm guessing the deer had already been all around me when I parked my car, and then they smelled me when I got out. They saw my lights, etc., etc., and they alerted each other and ran. I feel pretty silly now, but after the fact, that was one of the scariest moments I've ever had in the woods, for sure.
So he was terrified because he heard deer.
Yeah. Now
I'm really curious as to what those fucking deer sound like.
So I heard it and I was like, oh my God.
Is it like gross?
I wouldn't instantaneously shit, but I would instantaneously need to.
So I wrote down to add in the break, like when you're looking up your animal sounds.
Yeah.
The Aztec death whistle.
Oh, I think I've heard
that?
it. Yeah, I think I have.
Oh, it's fucking terrifying.
No, it's kind of like that.
Ugh.
It's this like weird, shrill, high-pitched, shrieking sort of sound. It's crazy.
Pass.
Other people were saying, because it has like a deeper sort of resonance than the whistle does, they were saying it kind of sounds like the barking of a dog, but like a crazy one. I don't know. You'd have to hear it.
Okay.
Next up. Hunting the Little Natchez unit in Washington. I took a short walk up a logging road to check things out, walked back, and there were mountain lion tracks covering my own. It wasn't even a 20-minute window between my leaving that spot and then crossing it again.
Pass. Hard pass.
1 year, we had in my area a mountain lion that kept screaming at night. And it's an eerie sound. That was the end of that story, but someone commented, I'm not gonna lie, I read your story and I thought, they can't sound that bad. You're probably just overreacting.
Right.
Then I YouTubed it. Holy shit, I would have shat my fucking pants.
Ew.
That's another animal sound I'm gonna play for you.
Is the mountain lion? Mm-hmm. Screaming mountain lions?
Screaming. It sounds like some kind of guttural undead banshee. It's so awful.
Well, I can imagine that. You ever heard cats do like their like guttural scream? Mm-hmm. They'll, like, ow, ow. Like it's kind of, it's very bassy and low.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Have you heard it any other way? Because I don't think I've heard it quite like that.
You don't have cats in your house.
No.
I have 2 cats in my house, and both of them will like fight in the middle of the night, and whoever loses cries like that.
That's actually really funny.
And so I can imagine that a mountain lion would sound, louder and deeper and more, scary.
Based off of that, I'm very interested to know what you think about the sound.
Okay.
Because I would be terrified.
I hope you drop your phone in your drink.
I won't. Next up, I'm creeping into my stand one morning. That's a deer stand. They put them up in trees.
Up in the trees? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In northern Michigan. It's pitch black, utterly quiet. I'm looking down with my headlamp on and I'm trying not to make too much noise. At some point, I glance up, and about 5 feet away from me, I see 2 really bright white dots.
Uh-oh.
They're horizontally spaced, about 6 inches from each other, and about 7 feet up off the ground. Obviously, I'm incredibly startled, and I'm thinking, best case scenario, I found a bear standing on its hind legs. Worst case scenario, I have discovered Bigfoot. I quickly draw my pistol and I aim at a tree.
With lights?
They were a couple of reflective trail tacks that somebody had left up there, spaced to look like eyes. Probably not on purpose, but it scared the ever-living crap out of me.
Okay.
And there were a bunch of comments after that someone was like, people really need to stop doing that because that happens to me too.
You ever seen the movie Finding Sasquatch?
The comedy?
Yeah.
I don't, I actually don't, I feel like most of what I know about the movie has been from memes. I don't think I've ever actually seen it.
We'll pull up the scene when they find him.
Do you want to write that for the break?
I'll remember it.
Okay. Moving on.
I'm going to write it down.
Okay. So this is the last one I have. It's longer than the rest of them. This is the last one I have that isn't for only patron ears.
Uh-oh.
The next one, it's a little more spooky, a little more supernatural. I know that's not everybody's thing, but I saved it for the patrons. Here's the last one that we're putting onto this episode, though. I'm north of Atlanta. I'm deer hunting. I head to a WMA in northern Georgia. I don't know what that is, by the way.
WMA. Mm-hmm. Women's Marching Accolades. Association. That's
Maybe.
Better.
Okay. I had only had a short time to scout the area. I had a basic and experienced plan to go in early and follow a game trail to where it looked like it crossed a river. My plan was to sit quietly until the early morning deer began to move. I arrived at about 4 a.m. I got my basic gear loaded, and I began to hike the game trail with no light except for my little headlamp. When I got to where a few game trails converged near the river crossing, I looked for cover and I found an old rocky foundation of some kind of stacked rocks and brush providing ample cover. So I set up inside the roughly formed area provided by the rock and vegetation. After about an hour and a half, it was legal hunting hours.
Okay.
I continued to wait, but as the daylight got brighter, I noticed a lot of things around me. I was working as a lineman at the time, and I noticed a yellow tape sort of trampled down on the ground in a few places. The area was very wet, and the yellow tape was covered in dirt and mud. It was similar to the tape we used to keep people out of hazard areas and off our trailers when they were in use. I noticed the remnants of paint on the ground, nearly missing lines, similar to what was left when underground utility locates where painted locations were painted, but weeks ago.
Okay.
At about 7:45 a.m., I hadn't seen even one sign of deer movement. So I just decided to move a bit further into the area. But as I stood up, I realized what I was sitting in. It appeared to be a small stone area that was built like a hut or a fort, maybe a cabin of some type. The ground had a thin slab of stone that was piled up. The ground had a thin slab, and stone was piled up, making walls. Some of them were knocked down ages ago, some were in decent shape. I walked up to the road that was about maybe 100 feet from where I was sitting. When I got to the road, I saw a display of very colorful objects. And when I walked over to inspect it, it was a 3-foot tall by 4-foot wide pile of stuffed animals. It had been raining off and on the whole week, so the stuffed toys were all soaking wet, covered in splashed up dirt, mud, probably moldy. They looked horrible. Affixed to a tree above the stuffed animals was a barely legible sign that was streaked with rain. It was a memorial for a child that had been murdered in these woods. My mind raced as I realized that the tape on the ground was a police line tape, and the paint that I found likely designated the position of the body. I was completely freaked out. I was kneeling at the exact location of a murder scene. I had just stumbled upon it. Or at least, I had found where the body was recovered. And he has a link to the exact murder. Anyway, what happened, I was done hunting for the day, and I had random shivers for the next few hours.
How was the girl murdered?
I don't know. I didn't read it.
What the fuck? That's the first thing I would have done. I want to know how she was murdered.
It was a boy.
Okay, how was he murdered?
Let's see. 11-year-old Levi Frady was last seen Wednesday, October 22nd. Oh my God, that's my birthday.
Oh my God.
1997. On Little Mill Road in Forsyth County. His body was found the next day in Dawson Forest Wildlife Management Area in Dawson County. It doesn't say how he died in this link.